How are we going to do this, though?
Building under construction.
Probably going to end up building up a bit more of a ground force so that we can invade Coruscant directly after. And then we'll see. So, that's going to be our main assault fleet for this, I guess. So we're going to send up a little bit more.
Construction complete.
Beginning construction. Mauler ready.
Coruscant, the ground is going to be so hard to take. But let's see how we do in space. I don't think they're going to have much of a fleet there. Most of their units are probably at Fondor, which we unfortunately can't get to.
Tactical battle imminent.
Right, so we got more frigates. I don't think we're going to come across another New Republic capital ship in the mod, or in the full campaign.
What's your orders? New heading set. En route. Engage
Enemy unit
thrusters.
sighted.
Gonna go around. Everything in the consortium was just super OP.
Helm.
It's too bad LucasArts never ordered a second patch for either game.
Moving the sector.
Choose your reinforcements.
Right, we're gonna do the same thing as last time, I think.
Engaging engines. Heading to destination.
I think that's our full pop gap, yeah.
Commander. Targeting.
Focus down the Golem 3 first.
Destroyer here.
Oh, there's two Golem 3s. Lovely.
Awaiting orders.
Right, that's good.
Firing.
Get the Bellator to focus on that as well, so we get everything coming up both sides. And then the ISD can come in once the shields are down for that Golem, and probably be enough to take it out. Especially with these allegiances on this side. Or you can get to Fondor from one of the asteroids. Well, the build that Timpedia has, that I gave to Legion, Tim, Bullet, and them, is actually several months newer than this one. So I'd actually discovered it in this build and then fixed it for the later builds, the one that they got. But I'm pretty sure this build is still not accessible. Like everything they were showing, I believe it's from January. I think I gave them that build when I got home from my parents' house. I just packed it up right then. And this playthrough started at the start of November. And I think there were a few changes from after November 1st that the game still loaded without crashing. But after a certain point, I just couldn't load the changes without it crashing the build. So, or it crashing the save.
Moving to coordinates.
Nowhere to run.
Oh, the precursor is still alive. That's nice.
Falling out of formation.
Awaiting your orders.
The thing was, I didn't hate most of the consortium designs. It was just like
The lasers are our target.
the faction was clearly intended to be better
Destroy.
than every other faction, and they never made any attempt to change that. Like, it's one thing for stuff to come out and be overtuned because you just sometimes, even if it seems obvious to the players, it's
Lasers are our target.
not as easy to see during development.
Awaiting your command.
But like, just LucasArts could have we needed like 2 patches for that game, and a lot of problems would have been fixed, or could have been fixed. Like LucasArts, Petroglyph was aware of the freeze state, or the galactic freeze issue once modders brought it up with them. We were talking to the community manager about it. The community manager said, "Oh, we're in talks with LucasArts to get something done about it," but then nothing happened. So yay! But that's not really Petroglyph's fault necessarily.
Construction complete.
All right.
Construction complete.
So we need to leave something here for orbital bombardment. I think at least one of those units is going to be usable for it.
We're moving out. Destination set.
Me and Tim spent like an hour today trying to figure out new OBS settings for him, because he's still having that issue with crashing. But we found the new program that I'm using now, so hopefully he'll be able to sort it out and get back to streaming without his system just completely dying on him. Alright, we've got all that. What I may end up doing first is... do we want to invade Coruscant right now? I feel like we're not going to have enough units. It could be fun.
Brigade standing by.
Construction complete.
Luckily, Zsinj hasn't decided to interfere with our
Unit.
invasion yet. Let's see... Their economy's good. Their planet's... graph is kind of wonky, considering that their 3 factions used to be the entirety of it, but now it's 1 faction, then 2 other factions that aren't even on the chart, so it's harder to tell. Oh, that's a feature that I'd love to do if it wasn't hard-coded. Fix this dumb graph to show every faction. All right.
Brigade standing by.
Invasion commencing.
We're going for it. I really should have scouted this out, but when do I ever do what I'm supposed to do? Okay.
Reinforcements.
On my
We'll
way.
get enough in to hold the ground here.
Heading out.
Maybe recruit some stuff. We'll get artillery later when we get a bit farther in.
Lancet standing by. Coordinates. Scanning for enemies. Initiate sweep. Setting course. Aerial artillery reporting.
Look, sir, it's them. Form up.
As far as I can tell, those graphs are just hard-coded.
Roger that. Open fire.
It's a really dumb thing to be hard-coded, but it seems that way.
For orders.
Alright, we're gonna have to wait for some bombing runs. It's too bad I can't capture the sensor array up here. Where is it exactly? Right... yeah? It's somewhere. Definitely somewhere. But that's another thing that was after this build.
Yes.
Okay, calm down, AT-AT. Yeah, we know there's a bunker there. Get over yourself.
Over there. Acknowledged.
AT-AT destroyed.
Form up. Attack that target.
Unit destroyed.
At the ready.
That's no good.
Moving out. Heading out.
Alright.
Choose your reinforcements.
May end up needing these.
Reinforcements cancelled. At maximum unit capacity.
Ready to receive orders.
Standing by.
There we go.
Awaiting orders.
Send them up a bit.
Awaiting orders. Reporting.
What's the difference between the first and second variants? What do you mean? Just because they're showing up separately here? It's the same unit, so it's possibly just one might be a different factions version, but I don't think so. It might have just been split up for
Right away.
whatever
Out.
stupid reason the game decided to.
Out. Fallout troops.
But they are the same unit. Alright, so what we're going to do
Roger that. Destination.
is I can't remember where the power generator is look for it.
Cut through them. Let's move out. Let's go.
Literally flying through Coruscant. Okay, you're stuck.
Keep going.
Is it up here? I think it might be up here. No, ignore the lat. Ignore the lat.
Over there. Engines activated. Receiving orders. I copy.
Screw it. We're going to take out part of their base.
As you wish. Initiate bombing run.
Oh, right, because, yeah, this was before that was fixed. That's why they do get stuck in there. That makes sense now.
Enemies in range.
There's 2 of their 8 buildings done.
Lancet proceeding. Command
Oh, right.
received. Right
There we
away.
go.
Targeting.
See if you can stay alive without anyone noticing you're down here.
Form up. Awaiting orders.
We'll send these guys up over here. This map will probably not change in 2.2 now.
Heading out.
And we do plan to put the... Republic Star Destroyer back in,
Destination ahead.
because people haven't stopped begging for it back since we removed it 5 years ago. Oh, you actually did it. Good job, Lat.
Keep going. This way.
Unit destroyed.
Over there. Engines activated. Receiving orders. As you wish.
Choose your reinforcements. At
Setting
maximum
course.
unit capacity.
I copy. Squadron moving out. Attacking. Firing. Engaging.
Alright, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4... This will be 5.
Target in sight. Lancet proceeding. Lancet targeting.
Bombing run available.
Heading for attack.
Really wish I could just play on the newer builds.
Command received. Attack.
Oh well.
Fire. Open fire.
That wouldn't happen.
Attack the target. Attacking target. Fire at will. Right away. Moving out. Heading out.
Oh, that's it.
Destination
It's hiding from us.
Let's move out.
Alright, back over here.
Unit destroyed.
Reporting.
Okay, that should be enough, and now we can actually start making our way downtown.
On my way. Target locked.
Well, the reason I don't like Nomada is because, as Ghost Sniper says, he accused us of stealing our model and started spreading around that we did because he didn't believe we could create it. He was always like that,
I copy.
even though a lot of his models are just ported.
Yes, sir.
And he had no reason to believe we stole it other than the fact that he thought we weren't good enough to create the model. He also has a tendency to just slag off other mods on his page and on their pages and just be a total dick. And when people report bugs with his mod, he just flames them on his page, which I find
On the way.
to not be a very good strategy to handle things. But
Short range fire.
that's just me.
Firing at will. Providing backup. Enemy. Right behind you. Moving out. Heading out. Fall out. We'll check it out. Let's move out. Let's go. Keep going. We'll assist you. This way. Rope. Over there. On my way. Acknowledge. Roger that. Form up. Awaiting orders.
Alright, you don't need these guys.
Acknowledged. Ready for duty. Moving to position. Moving to coordinates. Deploying.
We do need
Choose your reinforcements.
Moving out. Acknowledged.
more of those guys.
Ready for command. Moving to destination. Reporting. Let's move out. Attacking target. Fire at will. Attacking. Keep going.
Bombardment available.
It's gonna be a lot of units to find.
Over there. Targeting. Firing. I've got them on scopes.
We don't need to do that.
Unit destroyed. Unit destroyed. Bombardment canceled.
Deploying. Scanning for enemies. There they are.
Alright,
Unit
let's see.
destroyed.
Affirmative, sir.
What are we actually looking for at this point?
Reporting.
Let's load up a squad in each.
Yes, Commander. I copy. Ready. Lancet standing by. Reporting. Order acknowledged. Right away. Yes, Commander. Moving to that area, sir. Heading out. Order, sir. Reporting.
God damn it.
Fallout troops. Awaiting orders.
This is why we're reworking the infantry. The attack while moving stuff is so useful, but
This way.
it just messes with the rest of them. We really need to figure out a way to work around that.
Over there.
There's so many bunkers.
Unavailable.
Yes, Commander. Ready to receive orders. Attack run. Aerial artillery reporting.
First, we need more units.
We've sighted.
That didn't even kill him. Okay, just for that.
Unit destroyed.
Destroyed.
Just for all the bunkers. Because we killed pretty much everything else. It was just the bunkers and some tanks. Would have been too long to look for them all. Well, if you open the New Republic space units and then press Control F, look for Republic. That should bring you to Republic _star_destroyer, or look for that.
Construction
what you'll see it's in some green if you have Notepad++, but before the start of the unit there will be an open bracket, exclamation mark dash dash, and then at the end of the unit there will be dash dash close bracket. You just want to get rid of those, and it'll be uncommented out. Notepad++ is really a much better program for that sort of thing, but
Beginning construction.
How about some backup?
the reason the Republic Star Destroyer was removed is because it's really similar to the Nebula Star Destroyer, and it's also extremely ugly, and making it not ugly was not worth it.
Construction complete.
So eventually we're going to have to remodel it, but for now we're probably going to end up sticking with the original model until we're able to remake it. So how many New Republic planets are even left?
New heading set.
Because we know there's these two in this corner here.
Inbound.
Was it three? I can't remember if Borleus was part of that little triangle or not.
Engage thrusters.
Choose your reinforcements.
Move out.
Choose your reinforcements.
Alright, same deal.
Moving to sector.
This is probably going to be a lot more units because it's one of their last things. And all their retreating units would end up coming back here.
Maximum unit capacity.
Our target priority is the laser destroyer. Destroy. Commander. Fire. Star destroyer standing by. Scratch one. Go after the stragglers.
If you download Notepad++, it's much easier to edit XML files or any sort of code because it knows what syntax it is, and it'll start colorizing stuff. Colorizing is the right word. Not coloring, colorize, whatever. It'll make it a different color. So the commented out stuff will all show up as green, and then if you delete the stuff that I just said, it'll show up differently. Like it'll look more like the rest of the units. And if you just look at another unit, you should see what's different. It's just a little extra syntax there. Next faction you will play as is New Republic. No, actually, we've been running a poll in the descriptions of all the videos. There's a link to the straw poll for what to play next, and the Arido Authority is winning by like 100 votes over the next highest, which is the Pentastar alignment. But I'm probably gonna end up holding off a little bit on the Arido Authority, just because the GC I want to play them in is going to be Endor Aftermath, which is going to be a really long. Oh crap! It's going to be a really long playthrough. So I'm probably going to end up doing the Pentastar alignment first, because it's going to be a much shorter GC, and that gives us more time to get more other stuff finished. So the longer the Arido Authority playthrough goes on, the less of an issue is, because like I've been talking about it so much with Maldrood, where like the build we're using right now is significantly different from the developer build we actually have going on, and I'd want to get as far along before we get to having that problem as we can. I feel like our shuttles could probably win this.
Yes, Commander.
I'm not gonna try it, but it'd be funny.
Incoming! Engines activated.
Prepare for jump to hyperspace.
How do I recommend WebStorm? I've never actually heard of WebStorm, but I don't like paying for licenses, so Notepad++ is at least free. Yes, they are, Viking. I explained this a bit earlier, but the torpedo sphere is essentially going to be a siege platform for them. So long-range torpedoes. Really effective against heavily armored targets, but less effective against smaller stuff. Okay. Oh, I should have replaced our AT-AT. Oh well.
Yes, sir. Yes, Commander. Initiate sweep. Setting course.
We've come across enemy units.
Ready for your orders, sir. Changing course.
How many build things did this have? Just a 4?
Destroyed.
Mauler ready.
Alright.
Your reinforcements. Advancing.
Time Mauler
Thank you for helping us out, T2B. Now I can actually get my infantry in.
away.
Yeah, basically what Bullet said.
Moving out.
Mods, they're usually okay with because it's boosting sales of games they already own. But even fan games tend to get shut down, as you can see from, what was it, Galaxy in Turmoil or whatever it's called? Oh god.
Yes, sir. Let's go.
Coordinates. Heading out.
We thought about making our own game, but it wouldn't be a Star Wars game. It would be,
Fallout troops.
it would mean we're not making the mods anymore if we did that.
Let's move out.
I think,
They are in
yeah, we should easily have enough to take out that.
We've secured a landing zone.
an attack.
Its range will be really large.
Attack.
It'll have a minimum range, and
Open fire.
its attack speed will be pretty. It'll have a really high recharge rate or recharge time. But it'll also be really inaccurate against smaller stuff, and it'll have no other weapons.
This way.
Choose your reinforcements.
Order acknowledged. Heading out.
Roger.
Roger that. Over there.
He does know what you mean, Michael, but even then, that's like any sort of standalone game would be shut down.
Form up. Roll out. There they are. Deploying. They are in my sights. Scanning for enemies. Just give me a target. Move into position. Attack. Fire. Moving.
All right, let's see if we can get.
On my way. Open fire. There they are. Attack that target. Moving out. Right away.
Reporting in.
Tank grenade ready.
Oh god,
Order
get back! Everybody get back!
heading out.
Everybody get back!
You go
Okay, you can stay up there because I hate you. But everybody else, stay back.
Let's move out. Initiate sweep. Let's go.
Secured a landing zone.
Keep going. Setting course.
Choose your reinforcements.
Order acknowledged.
Reinforcement point contested.
I mean, if any of you play City Skylines, something that Paradox actually did, or Colossal Order, I think the developer's called, and Paradox is the publisher, they actually took one of the more popular modders, and they paid him They asked him to make a themed DLC, and now they're paying him a certain percentage of the proceeds from that DLC. So if anyone wants to do that with me, I'd be more than happy to.
Come on, man, this way. Unit destroyed.
They are in my sights. Moving to
Unit destroyed. Moving out.
copy. Firing.
Unit destroyed.
Okay, we really need you guys to stop fucking around here and actually get to the enemy that I'm telling you to get to.
Unit destroyed.
Okay, at least one of them's there.
Target.
That's fine.
Changing course. Yes, sir. Moving to
Destroyed. Lead the way.
commencing bombing run. Ready.
Unit destroyed.
On my way.
Unit destroyed.
Target locked.
Choose your
All good
reinforcements.
knowledge. Setting course. Right away. Heading out.
Alright, we're gonna start having bombing runs and stuff, so
Moving out.
that was close.
Right away.
Well, like I've said, pretty much every ground unit has been rebalanced already. We're just not playing with that right now. So the XR-85 is among that. All the Empire of the Hand units are among that.
Ready for
LATs, IFTX, everything's been rebalanced in some way.
as you wish. The big targets are ours. Armor ready.
And we're still reworking pretty much all the infantry.
Initiate sweep. At the ready. Cut through them. Attack. Targeting. Ready to receive orders. Blast them out.
Like, in some ways, Petroglyph was really modder friendly in that,
Engaging. I have the target.
like, the community manager would talk to all the mod teams when the game first came out. But that sort of fell off in the first year after Sage King left and Barrack took over. So there wasn't really an issue with Barrack. It was just that he wasn't part of that community as much, even though he was the community manager. But he tried to message all the modders at first, but then just he asked us if there was anything he could do to help us, but nothing ended up coming of any of that.
Destination.
And he just
Let's move out.
never really talked to the modders as much anymore.
Keep going. This way. Moving. Over there.
And like a lot of the mod tools came from Mike and Al
Receiving
and the community as opposed to Petroglyph themselves.
as you
So
heading for attack position. Attack. Fire. Fire. Open fire. Attack the target. Open fire. Attacking target.
Unit destroyed.
Squadron moving out. Tank ready. Enemy ready. Attack that target. Attacking target. Fire. Fire at will. Open fire. Attack.
all right, how much artillery do they have?
Destroyed.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Like they did release the model port stuff, but like the Allo viewer was Mike and Al. A lot of the information about how to mod the game came from Mike and Al, and he was a community guy.
Heading out. Fall out. Fall out, troops. Let's move out. Let's move out.
Paradox would be more like the old Rebellion game, I think, as opposed to Empire at War, because you're not talking about the same sort of real-time battles. Maybe as a publisher, they'd be good, but I don't know about like the actual developer.
New coordinates.
Choose your reinforcements.
En route. Order acknowledged. Heading out.
Maximum unit capacity.
Roger that. Keep going.
But the other thing with all the modder support stuff with Empire at War is any sort of order for that stuff, or any okay for that stuff, for any patches, for any additional tools, that would have had to come from LucasArts, and LucasArts just didn't engage with Petroglyph on that very much, and never really engaged with the modding community at all. So that was never really going to be a realistic thing,
Over there.
because that's the same thing with the freeze fixer that I mentioned earlier, or like an actual built-in fix of the freeze instead of the oh god, instead of the defreezer utility that we had to release.
Going.
Where's the power generator? he says as he finds the power generator.
Unit destroyed.
There we go. So now we don't have to worry about this stupid turbo laser towers, and we can actually just invade. We'll have to deal with that guy in there. Because that should be fixed as well already, but just the locomotor for the squad leaders.
On my way. Moving out. Right away.
Oh, screw that thing.
Order acknowledged.
First we'll have to go take out that guy.
Fall out this way. Let's move out.
Alright, I
Attack.
actually am supposed to be coding something with smallpox tonight. So I do think this will be the last battle that we do. I might just take out the
Unit destroyed.
Open fire. Attack that target.
yeah, screw this. We probably are just going to take out the last planet there,
We are victorious.
and then we will probably have to call it for the day.
System conquered.
I'm going to get these guys away.
Tactical battle imminent.
Actually, I think we'll just take the space over Nikizor, and then that'll be it.
Tactical battle imminent.
What's your orders? Engage thrusters. Ahead full. Helm move us out. Moving to sector.
They're in this direction.
They are in this direction, and soon they won't be, because they'll all be dead. Could you put a fighter locomotor on an infantry unit and fly it in space? Like, you could just use an infantry model and put it in space, yeah. There's nothing that would really stop you from doing that as a fighter model.
Keep your eyes open for those fighters.
Ahead full. Adjust and fire. Helm move us out. Moving to sector.
Watch for enemy fighters.
If you mean, like, using the same unit in land and on
Signal.
and in space, then no, you'd have to do a lot of extra stuff
Choose your
for the,
Be there shortly.
you'd essentially have to code two different units, make them use the same company, and that gets weird when you're trying to do it with squad stuff, which is one of the issues with Race Squadron. You essentially have to do a bunch of other strange reworking stuff or working around it to
Order confirmed.
get anything reasonable in that way, which is what we're going to have to do with Wraith and some other stuff.
Destroyer here. The lasers are our target.
That's got 'em falling out of formation. Choose your reinforcements. I'm in range. Reinforcements gas already. Watch your six. Draw their
Okay.
enemy unit disabled. Attack formation. Sir, swinging around.
How many heroes does the Imperial Remnant have? Similar amount to how they've usually had them. We're redistributing heroes in 2.2, but we're not really significantly changing the amount for any faction except for like the Pentastar alignment. Anyone that has sufficient heroes, we're just picking the most relevant ones for any given scenario or any given time period. For stuff like the Pentastar alignment that just didn't really have many, we're increasing it to a similar amount to the other factions, maybe a bit more because they don't get as much from progression, for anything from progression, really. Except for Maldrood. They get a lot from different kinds of progression. But now that we have this space over Nakuzor, that's actually going to do it for today's stream, just as we finish out this battle here. So thank you for watching, everyone. The New Republic should be on the go soon. Yep. So yeah, thanks for watching, everyone. We will be back on Saturday with more Imperial Civil War. I don't think I'm going to be streaming it next Saturday, but there will be a fresh episode not from the stream on Saturday. I'm probably going to divide this into 2 episodes. I don't know what we're going to be streaming next Saturday. Maybe an Ascendancy game, community game, maybe something else. We'll find out. But, hey, what? Oh, the Remnant is deciding to be a dick. We will deal with that next time. Thanks for watching, everyone. See ya.